Okay guys, welcome, welcome. We're going to get started in just a minute. I'm going to do a few techie things real quick while I wait for you guys to mosey on in. Once you're here and settled, say hello. Let me know where you're watching from today. Wasn't Abby's presentation fantastic? I totally loved it. She did such a good job. I want to go dig out my butane torch now. What a great inspiring weekend. I hope you guys are having fun. It's a little rainy day here today, so it's a good one for staying inside and playing with beads. So I'm really looking forward to watching the rest of today's presentations. All right, just waiting for people to say hello and make sure I am live and in the right spot. I am sharing my video right now. Hello, Brenda. First comment from Wisconsin. And we have Susan from Nevada. Hello, Mary Dreyer. Welcome. Susan Jaraki, Sheila Sheets. Well, hello, everyone. Just give me a minute to make sure I'm sharing all my stuff in the right spot. How are you guys doing today? Oh, hello, Janelda. My grandma's name is Nelda, so I've never heard Janelda. I like that. Jacqueline, Rosalind, Bonnie, Jennifer, Kayla, Susan, Deithman. Hello. So many people joining today. Welcome, welcome. Okay. Well, one second, guys. Hello, hello. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are here. Welcome, welcome. All right, I am having a little... Oh, well, I'm not going to worry about it. All right, 1 second and we'll get started. Hi, Dina. Nice to have you here. All right. Okay. Hi, Linda from Michigan, mid-Michigan. I'm over here in southwest Michigan. Okay, let's get this party started. Hey, welcome. I can't seem to get my thing. You can try. I can't log into Facebook to watch the video. Sorry. All right. I was having a little technical difficulty. It always happens, doesn't it? I'm so glad so many of you are joining me. We're going to be making the Nautical Knots project. Before we get started, if you're new here, and I am seeing a lot of new people, let me say hello. As you know, I'm Heather Powers. My website is Humble Beads. That's my business name. I am a bead maker, an author, an illustrator, jewelry designer, and your all-around creative muse. I do videos every Wednesday for Bead Table Wednesday at 1 p.m. and then 3 p.m. on Fridays for a coffee break. And so I just love sharing things with you guys. I love having fun, and I really think you're going to enjoy today's project. It's a wire working project. We're going to make these really cool, fun links. If you haven't downloaded the supply list and the instructions, you can find the link on my Humble Beads Facebook page or in the group. Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. So many new names. Yay! If you're new here, give me a thumbs up or a heart. I'd love to know who's new. I see so many new people, and that just makes me so excited. And so many old friends, which just warms my heart. So welcome, guys. Hi, Curtis Rock. Haven't seen you in a long time. Glad you're here. All right. Jane from West Michigan. I think you're my friend in the next town down south, right? Pretty sure. Okay, let's get to our project. I'm going to show you guys first how to make the necklace. And then we're going to go on to the earrings. And I'm going to zip through a little bit quickly here. The first thing I want to talk to you guys about are a few little fancy tools. You don't have to have these. If you don't have them, it's fine. Sheila, Vangeline, it's Vangie is my assistant back here, or Vange is the preferred name. So Vange is over here trying to log in to Facebook. Oh, you got it right there. Way smarter than me. I should have just given it to Vange. Like, they don't know technology 100 times better than me. Okay, so we have bail making pliers, and these are from Vintage. This is a 6mm on this side and 8mm on the big side, and we're going to be using the 8mm to make the links. If you don't have this fancy tool, pull out a Sharpie, and this will work too. And I will show you guys both ways. So we're going to use a Sharpie as the alternative if you don't have the fancy bail making tools. And if you ordered the kit from us and you got the wire, there's a little bit extra, so if you make a little mistake, it's okay. But if you want to practice with plain 18 gauge wire, you can do that too. This is the 18 gauge twisted wire from Vintage, and it's my favorite stuff. I love working with this. And this is brass wire. You can also find this on Parawire. Okay, the other tool I want to talk to you guys about, which you may or may not have, these are called parallel chain nose pliers, and they're a really heavy duty pair of pliers, and you can get these at the bead shop. And all the resources for everything are on my handout that I have for you guys to download. So we're going to be using these to close the crimpers, and these are the best tool to close the crimpers. If you don't have a pair of these, you can use your chain nose pliers. It takes a little bit more oomph, or your crimp pliers, but the crimp pliers tend to leave a mark, so you might want to tape your crimp pliers if you're going to use those so that they don't leave a mark. Okay, with that little bit out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. Carla, I'm so glad you found me. Oh, all right, now we're going to start with our starfish pendant. These are created by me, and they're polymer clay, and we're going to start with 4 inches of the twisted wire. And I have my little ruler here. If you're working along, I do recommend you watch me first and then do what I do, because I'm known to make a mistake or two. All right, I'm going to slip this through here. Actually, I'm going to move everything out of the way so that the camera won't try to focus on everything else except what we need here. Okay. That should do the trick, because we don't want the camera fighting with what it's going to focus on. Okay, I'm going to stick this through, and it's going to be about an inch and an inch and a quarter, maybe an inch and a half. I'm going to go an inch and a half. Okay, and I'm going to pull the back wire to the front and the front wire to the back. Easy peasy, you all can do that. I'm going to grab my chain nose pliers, which just got legs and walked off. Okay, here we go. Oh, Wanda, I'm so glad you liked the PDF. You guys can download that and follow along. Okay, I'm using my round nose pliers, and I'm forming a loop. You have to pull the wire over the pendant to get that loop on there. And I'm going to I'm just going to hold on to my pendant first and wrap the wire under my loop. This is the short little wire, and I'm going to wrap that 2 times under my loop first. And then I'm going to cut off the wire that's in the back here and pinch this nice and tightly closed. And what am I pinching? I'm pinching the little end so so that it's not going to scratch on anything. Okay, and now I'm going to take the back wire and I'm going to wrap it. Oop, I'm going to hold on to my pendant so that I don't unwrap it. Okay, I'm going to hold on to the pendant and I'm going to wrap around underneath the first one that I did, and I'm feeling like that looks pretty good. I'm only going to wrap it around once. If you wanted it to be a little heftier, you could wrap around a second time, but I think once is good. And I'm going to pinch that end so that it goes underneath my wires here so it's not poking out on anything. Now you can see, because this is copper wire underneath, there's a little bit of the copper flashing on there, so, and I did scratch that. I'm just going to take my Sharpie and add a little black, and then it disappears. Oh, thank you, Marisol, for sharing the kit. I do have just a few of the kits left, but we have the TGBE link on the top that shares all of the resources. Okay, so I have that little guy done. I'm going to take my 2-ply wax linen. Now, this is the thinner 2-ply wax linen, and I'm going to slip it on so it goes underneath my wrapped loop, and I'm going to tie it once, and I'm going to turn it over and tie it again, and I'm doing this 3 times so that that knot is on there nice and tight. Okay, and now I'm going to grab one of the ends and the little baby 3mm drook beads that are in here, that are in these fabulous colors, and I have my bead on there. I'm going to wrap the linen around my finger and push that knot so that it's right down next to my bead, and I'm pulling on the back wire with my fingers and pushing down with my fingernails to get that knot nice and tight.
The gauge?
The gauge of the wire is 18 gauge wire. Thank you. So 18 gauge wire is what we used for what we'll be using for the entire project. And then this is the 2-ply waxed linen. The 4-ply waxed linen is too thick for these tiny little drook beads. You'll be fighting with it, so we want the 2-ply waxed linen. And I should have cut this in half. Make sure to cut your, oh no, not this one. I didn't get that quite tight enough. No, not cutting this one in half. Sorry, that's the earrings. Got confused. Okay. Just making sure my knot is nice and tight there. And I'm going to repeat on the other side, except this time I'm going to start and add 2 beads, tie a knot, and then add 1 last bead and tie a knot. The little extra knots, they're just decorative. You could just do it where you didn't have the knots in between the beads, but you know, I like a little extra. So we have the first 2 beads. I'm going to tie the knot. And then the last little bead, and then I'm going to tie another knot. And I just wanted a little extra beaded fringe on top of this pendant. Thought it was a nice way to add a little bit of sparkle and tie in a little bit of the beads from the top to the bottom. Okay, I'm going to take a pair of sharp scissors and cut off just about 1/8 of an inch tail on each side. Okay, that's done. Now we're going to make the beaded links. And so we have beaded links we're going to do a pink beaded links, the sandy looking glass ones. Then we're going to do some flowers, some flower ones, and some pink triple ones. Okay, so I'm going to do one of each of those, and then I have all the rest pre-done. So I'm going to use my one-step loopers for this, and then I'll use my regular pliers if you don't have the one-step looper. This is a 1.5 millimeter step loop, one-step looper, and you just have your little bead touching this black guide part right there, and then I'm going to just squeeze, and it gives me a perfect little loop. And probably need to make the loop just a tiny bit bigger. And there's my little loop, and I didn't have to, and that's just a really quick way to do those. Now I'm going to do, you'll need to do 4 of those in total. So you'll do that 3 more times, and you'll have 4 of those little guys ready to go. And now I'm going to string on 3 of these little melon beads. And this one I will show you guys with just the regular pliers. So I'm going to cut, oh, I don't know how much that is, a half a finger's length. And I'm going to bend it that way first, and then pull the wire around to make the loop. And I can see we need both of the loops to be facing the same direction. So I just kind of turned that. Okay, this really bothers me that there's a Sharpie marker on my finger. And you're going to do that 3 more times. So you're going to have 4 of the little ones and 4 of the triples. And then the last one we're going to do, oh, not the last one, I have the flower to do too. These are 6 millimeter drooks, or you could use fire polish. Any round or fire polish beads work for this. And also the same, you could use any 4 millimeter bead for the little tiny links also. And I'm going to pull out my looper because it just makes it go a little bit quicker for me. And I just make that loop just a tiny bit bigger with my pliers, and that helps make it look a little better. Okay, so we're going to have 4 of those. Oh, Janelda, isn't the wax linen so much fun? We do carry that on in all different colors on our website too. And you can get the 2-ply and the 4-ply on the website. Today we're using the 2-ply. Okay, now I'm going to do the flower. This is a 12 millimeter hibiscus flower. In this one, because you can't get the bead close enough to the guide, you have to reshape it just a little bit so that it's nice and even. Okay, and I have 4 of those done. And then we're ready to start constructing our necklace. Chris, you love working with the wax linen too. I know, it's so much fun. I have so many projects on YouTube with the wax linen too, you guys, if you haven't had a chance to check that out. Okay, I'm going to set all of these aside, and we're going to make the links now. The links are super fun, and I'm going to share with you guys how to keep them nice and consistent so that they look the same every time. So I just have all my parts set aside. The tool that I used, this one, is called a one-step looper, Debbie, and you can get this at any place like Vintage is where I usually get it. You can also get them from Beadsmith too, where they sell beadsmith tools. So the one step looper, it's a 1.5 millimeter. They make a small and a big one. So you want to make sure you have the 1.5 millimeter. Okay, so now we're going to go back to our 18 gauge twisted wire, and this is in brass. It also comes in copper, so that would be fun for autumn looks. Okay, I'm going to cut this into a 6-inch length. And actually, because I need 4 of these, I'm going to cut 4 6-inch lengths, because I like to work in assembly line fashion. Like, when I do all the links, I do put all the beads on the eye pins first, and then do the wrapping. I don't do one bead at a time completely. I try to do things in an assembly line as often as possible. So I have my 4 wires here cut and ready to go. I'm going to show you first with the bail making pliers, and then I'm going to show you with the marker. Okay, we're going to start just a little bit above the center. So it's about 2 5/8 down from the top if you are nervous and want to pull out your ruler. Okay, and I'm just forming a loop around my pliers here. And I'm going to turn it over. And so this loop, the wire is going this way, and now I'm going to do the loop so that we're going to come back the opposite way of the first one. So you'll have one loop that's going to the left and one that's going to the right. And the 2 wires are meeting up here in the middle. So you've made this little figure 8. That's what you're starting with. And just trying to think. I'm going to have the longer side here. So I have one shorter wire and one longer wire. I'm going to have the longer wire on the top. And I'm going to grab this with my pliers, and I'm going to wrap it. I'm just pulling with my finger. I am wrapping it down underneath, and then when I come back around to the top here, I am going to have it go over the first wires. See how that is? So it's over right over the center. And that's how you want to start that. And I'm going to cut it off in the back here. And pinch it so that it's right up to my little link. And now the back one. I'll grab it with my pliers. I don't know why I keep trying to make it harder than it is. Okay. The back one, I want to have this wire go on top, so it's not going to go over the little wire. It's going on top, and I took it from the front to the back. And I'm going to show you guys this all 4 times. We're going to just walk through it all 4 of the times so that you get lots of practice for all 4 of them. And I'm just pinching that in a little bit, making that a little bit tighter. You want to make sure none of the little ends are sticking out. You don't want to scratch anything. And now I have the 2 little pieces of copper, and I'm just going to pull out the Sharpie and just dot that on there so that that doesn't show.
Where's your PDF located?
Marlene, the PDF is located, you can find the link in the Great Bead Extravaganza group, or also on my Facebook page. There's a link to it. If someone could share that link again, that would be awesome. You can also just go to humblebeads.com and click on the blog link, and it will be on there too. Okay, so there's my link. I'm going to do 3 more of those. I'm going to do the next one. Well, actually, I think I'm going to do, yeah, I'm going to do just another extra one because I don't want to use my, my Sharpie and have an odd. If you're going to use the Sharpie, you have to use them for all of them. You can't use the Sharpie for one of them. So instead of using the bail pliers, I'm just using the Sharpie, and I'm pulling it so it's a little bit smaller after I made the loop. Okay, so there's my loop. It's a little bit bigger than using the one. You could find a smaller pencil or pen. You just have to make sure that it's smooth, that you don't have a little edge for it to catch on. Okay, now with the longer piece, I'm holding on here with my chain nose pliers and wrapping under and around the center. I'm going to trim that off. Pinch this closed, and I'm going to take the back wire and wrap it around to the front, going on top of my first wrap, like above my first wrap. I'm going to close that, and then I just want to tuck that guy in. And so that's my link. I'm going to do the other 3 now a little bit quicker. I'm not going to explain the whole thing to you each time, so you can just watch me do this. So you got my first link. I'm going to turn it over and repeat my link on the other side. The other thing is you want to make sure the 2 wires, they're not going straight across, they're at a diagonal. I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see that they're, there we go, nice and clear. So they're not straight, they are definitely going at an angle here. Okay, I'm going to take the back one, and wrap it around to the front. Ooh, there went my wire. Okay, now I'm going to take the front. Actually, let's see how it looks if I take the front. Yeah. I messed up. I should have went the other way. Yeah, that works too. You can go to the front to back to the front. Also, kind of. I don't know. Sometimes I trip myself up because I didn't like how these 2 are ending at the same spot. So I think I'm gonna do it the other way. That's okay. Do a project a few times in a row and then you're like, you can do it better. Okay, so I have my first loop, turning the wire over, creating this back loop. So if you have your notes printed out, you can make a little note if you want. So we're going to start with this, the top one. We're wrapping from the back to the front and over the center, trimming that off and pinching it closed. And now I'm going to take the back one here, I'm just going to hold it, and wrap it from the back over the front. Yeah, I like that better, guys. Live and learn. Always growing, always getting better. Yeah, I definitely like the way that looks better. Okay. And the last one. And you're going to create your first loop, your second loop going in the opposite direction, so you make this figure 8, just like that. And now you're gonna grab onto your top loop and you're going to pull the wire around from the back over to the front, towards the back again, trim that off, close it up, and now I'm going to take the front one, the back one, the bottom one, and wrap it from the back to the front, around to the back again. And this gives me a much better fit for that wire. I like it much better. So make a little note on your instructions. The bottom one we're going to wrap the same way we did for the top one, just the opposite direction. Okay, so there, I have my 4 links ready to go. We're ready to piece the necklace together, and we're going to start with our pendant. For the 4 little littler links, of which one I'm now missing. How did that happen? What? One of my links jumped ship, guys. Oh, here it is. Okay. All right. So I'm going to have my 17mm jump ring. You're going to slip this on, and then you're going to slip all 4 of these guys with the larger loops, because you have the ones that were the eye loops that came from the manufacturer, and then your end of the loops, which are a little bit bigger. I may need to make my loop a little bit bigger still. So this loop, I'm just making it a little bit more round and then closing it up so that it fits. I probably want to do that one again too. I'm going to make this one bigger also. I forgot about how thick those jump rings were. So I'm just taking the side that we did with the pliers or the cutter, the one-step looper, and just forming the loop a little bit more rounder. So putting it down further on the pliers to round it out a little bit fatter, and then closing it up. Okay. I'm going to close this up nice and tight, and I'm just going to push these 2 over to the side and let those guys hang out. I'm going to open up my loops on this side and slip on my link and close up my loop. Make sure you got it closed nice and tightly. And you're going to repeat the same thing with the other bead. works if you hold this up. See how I have that up a little bit, and then pulling it over the link to close it. And close that nice and tight. There we go. That's our first one. Now we're going to attach the next links together with the 6mm links, the 6mm bead links, and I will be opening. Make sure you open it wide enough. And repeat with the other one. Keep forgetting I have to open these ones up just a little bit wider to accommodate the larger bead that we have here. And now I want to make sure everything's going in the right direction as I add the next link on. So make sure I have the front of the link here. And then open this one up. Oh, thank you. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, and now I'm going to add the ones with the the 3 of the 4mm beads. And this is just easy stringing. Simple technique matched up with something a little bit fancier with the twisted links. Okay, and now we're going to attach the next link. Making sure I'm keeping all the links facing the front, because as we know, there's definitely a front and a back to our links. Closing that up. And now to attach the last link on here, we're going to use one of the flower beads. And again, you'll have to open these up a little bit wider. Thank you. Van just keeping me on track, making sure I'm staying in the camera because I'm so intense I'm not even looking up. So I appreciate your help, Van. Okay, got that closed nice and tight, and now repeating on the top. And I know I need to open that up just a little bit wider. Now, one thing I should have done before I attached all of these, it doesn't matter though, is you'll want to go through and do your little Sharpie to darken all of these little ends. So I'm not going to do that all right now, but I just want to have that step in there so that you color the little copper pieces. So we'll fuss with that afterwards though, because I don't want to waste our time together doing that. Okay, now our last flower link we're going to attach with jump rings, And these are the thicker 9.25 millimeter etched jump rings. And you're going to need 2 pairs of chain nose pliers to open and close these guys. Okay, and now I'm going to attach the chain on the top of the necklace with this last jump ring. And the chain you'll want to cut in half, or you don't need to cut it. You'll just open and close the middle link. So let's do that really quick. And this is 16 inches of chain, so we want 8 inches on both sides. So I'm going to take the center here. This chain actually has open links, so you can open and close the links to remove and add the chain. And this is brass chain is what I'm using. Okay. Now you would repeat the design on the other side too after you attach the clasps. So on the right hand side I like to attach the clasp, and on the left hand side we're going to do the little leather loop, because you know when you do something for the Great Bead Extravaganza you want to do a little bit fancy. So I thought it would be fun to make the hooked loop, the loop for the hook with a little piece of leather, and I thought that had like a little beachy vibe to it too. So we're going to need a 5-inch strand of leather, and this is deerskin leather. Sorry, I don't have what size it was. Sorry about that. And we're going to take our 5 millimeter jump ring and attach that to the end of our chain first. So this is a little 5 millimeter jump ring. Stick that on. Close it up. And we're going to take our piece of leather and string it through our jump ring. And I'm going to string this so that it's at the center of my leather. So just folded it over and have the jump ring at the center. And I'm going to take this 4 millimeter crimp bead. It's a big, huge honkin' crimp bead. And I'm going to take my chain nose pliers. I'm going to stick my chain nose pliers in here. I'm going to hold on to the crimp bead so it doesn't go flying. And I'm taking my thumb and pressing my thumb outward. And this is slowly opening the crimp bead. And I'm going to keep closing the pliers and letting the crimp slide down further on the pliers to open this. Get this all the way opened. Well, not all the way opened. You want it opened enough to fit over the leather cord. So just a little bit more. Again, pushing this further down on the pliers as it opens up more. This is a big, huge honkin' crimp bead, isn't it, guys? And we have these on the website. And these are brass crimp beads. Okay, so I got it open nice and wide. Probably didn't even need to open it up that wide, but that's okay. You're going to slip it over the 2 pieces of leather. Well, both sides of the leather. And now I'm going to use these. These are the parallel pliers, and you can get them from Bead Shop. and they're 20% off this week from Bead Shop, so just want to give out a little shout to them. These pliers have changed my life when it comes to the crimp beads. They close them so nicely. These really get a good grip, and they're the best tool for the job. I'm going to close one side and then press the other side down. And then that's closed nice and tight. No fighting with it. You can close it with your regular pliers. It's going to be a little more work. And then you could also use your crimp pliers, but I find that the crimp pliers mar up the metal, so if you maybe taped them with a little washi tape before you use your crimp pliers to close it, that would work too. Okay, now I want to leave about what did I say, 5/8 of an inch, just a little bit more than a 1/2 inch space in there. And I can't wrap this around my finger because there's not enough leather to do that, so I'm just going to get a little loop made here, stick my ends through so you can see I'm just making a regular little knot. And I want this to be about a little bit more than a 1/2 inch. Pull that nice and tight, and you can just trim off the ends to about a 1/2 inch, and that's the end of my clasp. So I'm not going to do the other side of the necklace because you guys know exactly what to do now, but here it is closed up, and that's how it goes. Super easy, simple. Yeah, Nancy, this is actually called, that little crimp bead, they're actually called a crimp bead, not a crimp bead cover, and they're they're brass and from Vintage, and we do carry them on the website. So, right? Oh, I love those big, huge crimp beads, and they do work really well for leather projects, guys. Anytime you need to make a little loop on leather, you can close it with that crimp bead, and they're perfect. All right, now let's get to our earrings. So we're going to do our earrings real quick. And the earrings are super simple. I'm going to grab my earring tray. And you're going to need 2 lengths of 5-inch 2-ply wax linen for this. So make sure if you have the kit, you're going to cut it in half. And I am sold out of the earring kits, but we do carry all the supplies on the website, except for the eye pins. We're going to need 2 of the polymer clay starfish charms, 2 hammered rings. These are brass hammered rings. I have 2 8mm jump rings, your ear wires, 2 eye pins, and then we have 2 faceted I didn't show you guys anything. 2 faceted 6x8mm rondelles. In the original one I used English cut, but those are no longer available, so we've substituted the same finish with the faceted rondelles, which look really pretty too. And then you're going to need 10 of the little tiny drukes, the 3mm. Alright, you will need one fancy tool to get this project started, and that is the 1.5mm hole punch. And I am going to use my ruler. I know, shocking. Don't fall out of your chair. And I'm going to make a little mark where I want my hole to be. Just definitely want these to be directly below the first hole. And I'm going to do this in the center of the ring here. It's at the edge on the manufacturer, but we want it to be in the center of the hole that we're going to punch. And this is a 1.5mm hole punch. And just giving it a squeeze. and that will punch the hole. Okay. Now we're going to take our jump ring. This is 8mm jump ring, and we're going to attach our starfish to our hammered link on the bottom. So the one that we just punched. And close that up. And now we're going to take our eye pin, add our fancy little 6x8mm rondelle here. And this is a transparent glass with a gold finish. It's really beautiful. And you can use your loopers, or you can cut and make your own simple loop on here. And let's see. You want your top loop to be going left to right. Bottom loop, front to back. Top loop, left to right. And then everything will fit on right. Okay. And now I'm going to open the bottom loop, stick on my hammered loop, close that up, and then you're going to add your ear wire on the top. And now we're going to take our, let me move all my pliers off the table. We're going to take our 5-inch piece of wax linen, and this is the 2-ply wax linen. The wire was 18 gauge wire, Nancy, and I'm going to actually make this a little bit smaller of a loop here, and I'm going to put it through the bottom loop on the beaded link. We're doing a lark's head knot here, so I'm going to open up my loop, stick my 2 ends through. I'm going to tie my loop nice, or pull the knot nice and tight, and that lays a little bit better on this earring project. I like that a little better. And now we're going to simply string on 5 beads and tie a knot at the end. So I have these tiny little 3mm drook beads and this really pretty etched metallic finishes. And we have a ton of these in stock in 4 different colors on the website. And you can find everything that I used today in today's project on the website. Go under the TGBE category on the top menu, and you will find all of the components that we used here today. Okay, so I have my 5 beads on. I'm going to do a knot and make sure my knot is really nice and tight to my beads.
What millimeter of the parallel pliers do you use?
The parallel pliers are, I am going to have to look that up, guys. I think it's the 140, but I'm not 100% sure. What I'll do is make sure you guys go to the Great Bead Extravaganza group after this. I will post the direct link to where you can find them on the Bead Shop website, unless somebody else has easy access to that and can post it here. But thebeadshop.com is where I got them from, under tools, and I will definitely post which size I got, because there were 2 sizes, weren't there? So I forgot about that. Okay, tying a knot on this side. Now if you have a little knotting tool, you can use that. I just prefer to use my fingers, just goes a little quicker for me. Okay, now I'm going to grab my sharp scissors and cut, leave a little quarter-inch tail, I think it is, and I'm going to unravel these by twisting them in the opposite direction that they are naturally twisted in, maybe. Okay, so got that open, and I'm going to untwist the other one just to add a little bit of extra texture on these earrings. There we go. All right, and now you'll repeat the other one, and you'll have your 2 pairs of adorable earrings. And you can see here I did it with the transparent with gold beads and the denim blue. What's the color of that blue that we use? Royal blue. Royal blue wax linen. So you can switch up the beads that you use on here for different looks. And all of that is on the link under TGBE on the website. And you guys can find all that information. Okay, so if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them. I can answer them right now while we do this, but I do have a giveaway. Remember I said you had to watch and be here today for today's giveaway. So this is the earring kit. I have 3 of them. I have 2 in the blue and 1 in the pink urchin color, and you're just gonna get what you get. There's no, it'll just be a surprise for you which one you're gonna get, but you have to be in the US to enter, okay? So don't leave a comment right now once we start here. Did you guys break the bead shop website? Good. Definitely want to support our fellow Great Bead Extravaganza companies. Okay, so this is how we're going to do this drawing. Well, it's not a drawing. I'm going to ask a question, and the first person that we see answers the question, that I see answers the question. The first name that pops up that I see, which it may be a different name for you depending on how our internet speeds are going, but the first name that I see and announce is going to be the winner. So my first question is, and get those fingers ready to type, and I will yell out, I won't yell out, but maybe I will yell it out. I'll say the person's name that I see first as the winner, and we're going to write that down so that we can contact you after the presentation to get your mailing address. Okay, so the first question that I have is, what are my beads made out of? Okay, I'm waiting for the first one to pop out. What are my beads made out of? Clay. Let's see. Vicky Blizzard, you are the first one to answer. So Vicky Blizzard, you are the winner of the first kit. Okay, now we're going to get ready for the next question. What gauge twisted wire did I use today? What gauge of twisted wire did I use today? We're waiting. There's always a little delay. Okay, what gauge of twisted wire did I use today? 18. Donna Dove, you are the winner. Okay, and my next question, I think you guys are going to be able to get this one really easily. Oh, you guys, your fingers were working so fast and hard. Yes, so 18 gauge wire is what we used today. And my last question, are you guys ready? Get ready. Here's my last question. What is my website address? First person to type in my website address is going to win the third kit. Oh, darn, Cindy, you were the third on each one. At least you were consistent. So what is the address of my website? Ooh, you guys were fast. Okay. Nancy Bramble, you have won the last kit. Okay, so I will send you guys a message on Facebook through the messenger right after the video to get your address. Thank you guys so much. Before we go, let me just share with you guys what my special is for this weekend. So what I like to do is I like to do free gifts for my people because I love you guys and I love to send extra beads for you. So if you order $50 on my website, you'll get a free set of wobbles, and I always try to match these guys up to the to your order. So we try to color coordinate your your free beads to the beads that you've ordered, and this is for every $50 you spend. So for every $50 you spend, you get a new wobble, so you can get a whole little collection if you want, depending on how much you spend, and it is cumulative for the whole weekend. So if you've been doing little orders, they all add up, and we'll all add them up and send you the appropriate amount of free beads. Laura, I love that you've loved my beads for years and years. Guys, do you know how long I've been making beads? It's been like almost 28 years that I've been making beads. That's crazy, right? So long, and I love it so much. All right, so humblebeads.com, you can find beads and kits if there's any left. I'm not 100% sure. If you want more inspiration, head over to my Humble Beads VIP group. And then on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. I have my Bead Table Wednesday, and you guys can find that on my Facebook page here. And then we also have our coffee break at 3 p.m. Bead Table Wednesday is always a free project, and the Friday coffee break is what's new in store or some various inspiration. So I started making beads as a small child. Yes, a baby. I wish. I'm heading almost to 50, you guys. It's been a long time. All right. Chris, great question. So, if you've already placed an order and say money's tight and you don't want to have the extra shipping charge, go ahead and send me a message and I can send you a code for free shipping. But also know that Jesse will refund any extra shipping tomorrow, you guys, when he prints out the orders. So if you've ordered 2 or 3 times, he combines all your orders and refunds all your shipping. So great question, Chris. I will go through and read and answer any questions that I might have missed. You guys, Cynthia Thornton is up next with her presentation, and I will be definitely watching that and eating my lunch. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. Linda, right? I time traveled. That's what it was. Thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of the Great Bead Extravaganza. I hope you guys have had a super inspiring weekend. And I really